Good morning everyone, and welcome to Thursday morning's live stroll. We are currently going for our normal stroll, which obviously is a lot shorter at the minute, as you know. I finally gave in on that, guys. I've made an appointment at the doctor's. Surprisingly, I could get an appointment at the doctor's, but I did. So we are going to see what they've got to say. I fully expect them to say, well, you either got to go to hospital to have x-ray, or you just got to continue to try and rest it as best you can, which is easier said than done, isn't it? Stop it. So we'll wait and see what they've got to say for themselves. And I've probably left it longer than I should have as well. Anyway, let's just wait and see what they come back with, and then we'll go from there. So that is a week, Monday before Christmas. Got some joyous news before Christmas. Your leg's going to fall off. Let's hope not, eh? Anyway, back to this morning. It's currently 7 degrees. A little bit chilly, but nothing to worry about. And yeah, we're just going to do the normal live stroll. Talk about whatever comes into my little head. Normal day from the point of view of work. Thursdays and Fridays, I like Thursdays and Fridays because there's nothing on after work. They're quite calm days. I'll have a look at the weather later. I might take my drone to work today. See if I can get any pictures of the Christmas lights over near Wimpole. Obviously I can't go anywhere on property, but I can sort of use the zoom on the camera and the perimeter and whatever, so I might do that. I'll have a look at the weather. If it's like it is now, it is very still, and that will be perfect. So we'll see. Anyway, James had football training last night. He had to basically sit out most of it, unfortunately, because he'd fallen over at school, he says, and he'd hurt his hip. And I said to him, how do you fall over? Come on, Azra. Come on, Azra. How do you fall over? I say, tongue-in-cheek, after falling over in the air, Disney, but that's a slightly different scenario with slipping over on a wet floor. Anyway, I never got a conclusive answer. But he's really got to take it easy today and tomorrow, because he's got his last match before Christmas on Saturday, and he really wants to play. He was belly aching. But then after that, I think he's just going to rest until the new year, football-wise, because he's got to give his body a bit of a rest. I think he's not been completely pain-free since a couple of matches ago, where he was playing against a really big boy, and he was really roughed about a little bit, unfortunately. Part and parcel of it, though, isn't it? Contact sport and all that. And don't we know about it when he's ill or injured? Everyone knows. Anyway, we'll see how we go. He's got a couple of days. You know what kids are like, they bounce back. So I'm sure he'll be fine. And then, apart from that, really, over the next couple of days, not a lot going on. We'll be out again with her in the morning, around this sort of time, doing the normal live stroll. And then the weekend will be upon us. Football Saturday, do my chore with Mum first, then football. And then it starts to be the build up to Julia's Christmas do, which is in Cambridge. We're going up there early evening Saturday, and then we're staying up until Sunday morning. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a busy one. I'm hoping it's not going to be as messy for me as it was last weekend for my Christmas do. It was carnage, to be honest with you guys. I don't drink excessively. I never have. But it did get quite messy on last Friday night. There was lots of wine, white and red. And yes, Julia actually freely admitted last night when we were talking about it and her do this weekend, she's never seen me in that state before, ever. And we've been together 26 years. She said she'd never seen me that bad before. I haven't felt that bad before. And I don't suffer from hangovers. And I did feel really rough on Saturday. Although I did my best to not show everyone, but I felt really rough on Saturday. Anyway, I will be on my best behaviour at the weekend because I have to chaperone. But the talk about getting a taxi from one place to the other place as opposed to the 8-minute walk may sound lazy, but walking around Cambridge is not fun sometimes, as I can vouch for after last Friday. So we might get a taxi. I don't know. Back, not there, back. Anyway, that's in the future. It's a shame there's not an awful lot to talk about sport-wise. I suppose anyone that's interested in Formula One, which I am, came out, is it yesterday or the day before? Not quite sure that Helmut Marko was leaving Red Bull. And I was just watching the Sky Sports podcast and some of the things that Ted was saying. He used to say to him, it's disgraceful really. But the problem is, it's a generational thing. And I can vouch for this, with, maybe grandparents and even my parents to a degree, that sometimes they say things and I don't think they realise exactly what they just said. Or if they do realise what they said, they're not really bothered. Whereas I think sort of our generation are a bit more careful about what we say, perhaps, because there's a lot more people take it more personally, and I think I'm just about of the generation where I'm not the sort of the snowflake generation, as they like to call it. It's a bit younger really that seem to take everything to heart, perhaps. Azra, come on! What are you doing, gal? Are you going to the loo now? You've decided, have you? Right, just bear with me, guys. Just bear with me a second. So, she's just going to the loo, but what's going on? We're on our normal live stroll that we do every morning. I'm just going to put you down whilst I sort her out. Just give me 1 second, guys. Azra. Right, sorry about that, guys. Well, I'm back. And I'm sorry if those comments sort of offend people, and it's not meant to offend. It is factual nowadays that the younger you are, for whatever reason, and this is not across the board, but you seem to be far more easily offended at times than sort of the older generation. Don't know why. Is it just people know what avenues they can go down to get help? And I'm talking about if you're at work and if you've got a problem at work and it's constant, of course you should go to HR. Listen, I'm not saying that, but we're gone are the days where I grew up in a trade where if you had a problem with someone, you went and spoke to them about it, not run to HR. And that's my point about this, and I'm trying to keep it as diplomatic as possible. Because whatever you say or whatever I say, you're gonna get some sort of backlash or comment, but it's not being said to be horrible. It's being said because I see it every day, hear about it every day, and I just think to myself, why don't you just go and have a chat with that person? If you then go and have a chat with that person and it isn't sorted out, whatever it is, then you go down the proverbial whatever route you need to go down. Of course, this way. But I do not believe in going straight to a HR department. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, that's my 10 pence. Over and out on that. Anyway, going back to the original point of this conversation, Helmut Marko, Red Bull, old school racer. Will they regret not having him there? I don't think they will, because this is a different generation of drivers that don't relate to that old school scream at you for 5 minutes and hang the phone up sort of thing, without even waiting for the other side of the story. I used to say this at a company I used to work for that was very old school. They would do exactly that, and they'd come down from time to time and try and do the same, and I would always say to them, certainly latterly when I didn't really care, do you really think you're getting the best out of people by carrying on like this? And it's just, their mindset was, well, this is what we've always done. And it might be what you've always done in the 80s and 90s, but it doesn't work in the noughties in the same way. People just don't accept it anymore. Anyway, that's why I think they won't miss him at Red Bull, because I don't think people relate to the old school ways anymore, to be honest with you. And he was probably a relic of the old team, the original team, and I think basically that is now the last chess piece, isn't it, of the original team that was there. Now you could argue he's brought through Verstappen, Vettel, and yes, of course he has. There's no doubt his ability as a racer, but his people management, I think, is what got people annoyed, to be fair. Okay, so that's taken up far longer than I anticipated it was going to take. In regards to the football, last night, Man City beating Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. Pretty good result for them. I think Arsenal won as well, didn't they? Did Chelsea win as well? I think they did, didn't they? No, I think the Chelsea won the night before. I think Newcastle played last night, didn't they? And they drew 2-2. Obviously, Leverkusen scored quite late on, I think I saw on the scores. From memory, and I had a quick look before I came out. So Champions League is now beginning to form. I'm not quite sure how many games there are left. I was trying to look last night, actually. I didn't get that far, so I will look into that and maybe can have a bit more of an educated conversation. What I do know is I did see that Liverpool, my team, are going to be playing Spurs very soon, game after next, and also I think they're going to be playing Arsenal as well, both away very soon. Then obviously they've got other fixtures in between and what have you. But yeah, they've got some difficult fixtures coming up. To be fair, I mean, every game feels like it's difficult at the minute, to be honest with you. How this Mo Salah situation is going to pan out, Lord only knows. I do think he's trying to test the resolve of the club with the manager, I will say that. And if the truth is correct, the fans that were in the San Siro on Tuesday night were certainly chanting Slot's name in full support. So I think the fans still support him, and I said a few weeks ago, if you didn't get some half decent points out of the West Ham, Leeds and Sunderland game, I think his days were numbered. He got 5 out of 9, and the performance against Leeds up until the point of the implosion was a lot better. There's still much work to do, guys. That's the fact, isn't it? There's still much work to do. And I've watched Liverpool through some pretty dire times, to be honest. And sit, Azra, good girl. And, you know, quite frankly, as I said yesterday or the day before, it will come good. It always does. They're too good. Cream will rise to the top again. I just think we've been very, very unlucky with circumstances. Circumstances this season with Jota and the victory parade. It's affected people more than I think it showed. You know, these players, they spend a lot of time together on the road and what have you. And obviously during the week, you know, they're mates, I'm sure, some of them as well. So it probably has more of an effect than we know. But anyway, the point is, you know, they're not doing as well as they could and should be. And whether sort of, if they can just string some results together now, you know, the reset happens. They looked a lot better in the San Siro. It was a good away performance, I would say. And of course they didn't have their full strength squad because obviously Salah was sulking. Kaiser, I don't think is in the Champions League squad, and I'm not quite sure about Gakpo, whether he's got some sort of injury. I didn't really hear the reasons why, but he wasn't there either. So yeah, it's a bit of a funny one, that one. But anyway, let's just see how the next few weeks over Christmas sort of pans out, and then we'll go from there, I guess, really on that. So we're gonna sign off very shortly. We've done what I wanted to do with my leg as it is. I am getting a bit sick and tired that I can't go on the long strolls. It is annoying me for my own sort of exercise as well. It's beginning to get me down a little bit now, but hopefully once I've seen the doctor, they can advise, tell me what they think the next steps are, and then go from there. So hope you have a good day, guys. We will catch up tomorrow. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does really mean a lot to the channel, and we will resume tomorrow morning. Cheers, guys.